Hello everyone and welcome to Art Nation. Today we are going to review this vintage 35mm rangefinder film camera from 1961 called Petri 7. I got this from a local flea market for guess how much? $10. Yes, that's all I paid for this fully functional camera. So let's dive into it and review this beautiful camera. All right, so let's look at Petri 7. It's a 35mm rangefinder film camera. It comes with a lens of 45mm f1.8, and let's begin from the top of the camera. As you can see here is the film counter, the film advance lever, and the shutter release button. So you use this to advance the film, press the shutter, and the count increases by 1 here on the red dot. So as you can see, there are 36 slots, 36 segments here on this. So as you move from one picture to other, it keeps incrementing by 1. If you were to now, if I was to load a roll of film and want to reset it, you just have to bring the S back to its position here to the red dot. That's it. Once S is on the red, you load the film and then it starts from 0. So that's the shutter release. You can also attach a remote shutter cord here, and it's pretty smooth advanced lever. Next to it is the cold shoe mount. This is where you can put your flash, but also people put other accessories. These days people put a GoPro here just to record as they are shooting different things on the film camera. Next to it is the film rewind knob. You open this and start rewinding the film to once you're done shooting, and then you pull it up to release the roll. For that, let's look inside. This is the tab you pull to open the back, and then if you pull this up, you can remove the roll from here. Once you put the roll, push this back and close it. On the right hand side is where you do the intake of the roll. So put the roll here, take the film up to all the way up to here, put it inside this notch, and then once you start kind of advancing the film, you can see that this moves. So it will start taking the film and shooting. That's for the back. And here in the back is the viewfinder, and I'll come back to this later. There's more to it. On the front, because it's a rangefinder camera, everything else is on the lens here, as you can see. Starting with the focusing, you use this lever here to focus. It's a pretty small throw, but within this much throw, it can go all the way from 2.75 feet or 0.8 meter all the way to infinity. And the indicator here is, interestingly, the logo. The Petri 7 logo points out all the way to the focus, and it can indicate where you're focusing. And then next to it is the aperture ring. The white dot is where you align the aperture, so 1.8 all the way to 16. And then here is the shutter speed button or knob, all the way from bulb mode to F500 you can go. And then there is ISO settings here next to it. You change ISO by pulling up and down this knob here. So you hold the gray ring and then you pull this up to change whether you want 100, 200, 50, 25, all the way up to 10. So changing this ring lets you change the ISO settings. Let's open the back to just see the, so I'll put the shutter on bulb mode, and then I'm going to change the aperture to let you see the aperture ring, how it's functioning. So yeah, this is your aperture, all the way 16, wide open 1.8. And then yeah, if I just in bulb mode, then in 1 second, one half of a second, quarter, all the way up to 500th of a second. Yep. That's all for the shutter speed. Next to it, this red dot is for the self timer. All you do is push this self timer all the way to the top, and then you cock the shutter and release it, and as soon as you release the shutter, the timer will start. Yep, that's it. So that's for the self timer. And then you have the flash sync X and M settings. X is for X synchronization, which works for shutter speed 1/60th of a second and lower, and M is for the M bulbs, which will usually work for 1/30th and low. Next is the flash port here, sync port here. You connect your flash to the cold shoe and then connect the flash here to the lens. Now let's look at the name, the Petri 7 Greenomatic system. And that Greenomatic system is nothing but this focusing and viewfinder system here, where you see one is a regular viewfinder, and next to it is this green color window which takes an image from the green area, overlaps it with this window, and this is how you focus, basically by aligning those two images. So let me turn on the light here and see if I can show it to you how this works. It'll be a little bit difficult, but let's try. So you see there is a pretty small window in the center that has an image, and then you have the rest of the image. So if I move my focusing knob up and down, you will see that window image changing a little bit. So that's how you basically move the lever to align, and then once you're in focus, you click. One other interesting thing on this camera is the built-in light meter, which is these series of selenium cells around the lens. They are light sensitive, and this means that you don't need any battery power to do metering on this camera. So the way it functions is inside the viewfinder, there is this red color needle that basically moves up and down to show you whether you are correctly exposed or not. So you see that, I'll try to show, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but there's a needle there that moves up and down, and in the middle is when you are correctly focused, and then if you are below, you are underexposed, and if it is above, then you are overexposed. All I'm doing is just moving the aperture ring So right now I'm at f16. It's showing me underexposed in this light condition. And then if I go all the way up to 1.8, it kind of goes really at the top. So that's how the metering system works. Yeah, it's pretty solid built camera, and really for 1960s camera to function perfectly today is a great testament of how nicely built this is. So we're going to look at some pictures that I shot using this camera next, and you'll see how it compares to much advanced cameras like Nikon F100. So here are some photos I took using this camera. I shot the HP5 Plus at ISO 100. As you can see, the images stand out really sharp. Here you can see the images from Petri compared with the much newer F100 cameras. I would say the quality is pretty comparable, considering that one was shot at ISO 100 and F100 at ISO 400, which gave it some more light. Hope you enjoyed this review. Please subscribe and thumbs up if you liked it. Would love to hear what you think about this camera by commenting below. Thanks for watching Art Nation. See you in the next video.